Okay, update on the arrows so far. What am I doing? I'm using my spine tester to spine these dried arrow shafts from 2 years ago. Right? I've got a bunch of new shafts that I'm working on, right? But I also have the ones from 2 years ago. I just finished peeling a bunch of these under the table there. You can see all the bark. I did that last night. But anyway, I'll be storing those up, the ones that are peeled, for use later. But for now, I've got the dried ones that I'm going to be working on in the upcoming videos. So it's an old spine tester. It's a Rite. It's got two settings. It's got one for a 24-inch span and one for a 26-inch span. And what that means is the distance between these two uprights. There's one over here and one over there. I got this. I got my phone on a mount, so I can't really move it too easily. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, I wrote a bunch of information on the arrows. And before the sun starts coming into my shop and ruining my video quality, I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so can you see? Yeah. Yes? No? What I've got here is these shafts are viburnum here, and these shafts are buckthorn, alder buckthorn. I got a bunch more of this alder buckthorn. See? I don't have that much of this viburnum. The viburnum is going to be used for reproduction arrows of Native American style arrows. And the buckthorn is for my own personal use. Okay? All right, let's get into what I wrote. The length of these, 31 3/4, they're both the same length. Both of these batches are the same size, which makes it excellent. All right, so how do I do this? See, 31 3/4. So when I weigh them for their grain weight, I can actually have a good comparison. Okay, so let's see. I wrote some notes. Now this is just to give myself an idea of where I'm at this point. These are cold straightened only. The heat straightening comes next. But before I do that, I want to be able to get arrows in the range that I need for my bow. The weight, the spine weights in the range that I need for my bow. I haven't made the bow yet. I've got seasoned hickory already set up for the bow I'm going to be making for my tests this summer. I've got bows already made, but I want to show the process of making the bow as well as making the arrows. Okay? All right. So in the process of making the arrows, I'm writing all this information down on the shafts so I know how many shafts I have available that are within the range I need. Spine weight. All right, it's like, for instance, this one here is 70-pound spine weight at 24-inch span, right? And the grain weight is 618 grains, and it's viburnum, cold straightened viburnum. The diameter is like 10 millimeter or 3/8 inches. Now that is just so you know for reference. I don't really need to write that down for my own use. I don't need that, but it's good to have it on video as entered into the record, so to speak. Okay? Now, for the equivalent in the alder buckthorn, let's, just for comparison here, let's get the alder buckthorn out. It's generally lighter in weight as far as the physical weight in grains. I can achieve the same spine weight as long as the diameter is thick enough. It is, right? So the alder buckthorn is going to work as long as it's not cracked. See, I got some issues that this may be cracked here and not usable, but I gotta wait until I sand it down. It might still be usable. All right, so let's find one, for example, that matches closely to the 70 pounds. Do I have a 70-pound spine weight one in here? 59, 50, 85. I don't have a... Let's see if I can find one in here that's close to the viburnum. Let's see. Excuse me while I figure out what I'm going to do here. I don't want to unwrap all these. I want to find one that's pretty close match, just so you can compare, just so we can have it in the record to compare, because people want to know. Inquiring minds want to know how it compares. Man, I'm going to have to take these out. Hold on. Maybe not. I wrote down all the info on this. I knew I was a little bit smarter than that. I don't have to unwrap it. I got all the info written down. Okay, so that one's over 100 pounds spine weight. Let's do one that looks like, okay, I'll probably be able to use this one. See that? 58. But I probably won't be able to use the one that's lower. 40 pounds or less. I can use all of these alder buckthorn because they're all above 40 pounds. Yeah. All right, so let's just take this one as an example. 442 grains at 58 pounds, a 24-inch span. The diameter is 10.5 millimeters or 1330 seconds. Okay, that's what I wrote on here. Now let's look on the viburnum and see if we have a comparable one. 58 pounds. We got one at 56 pounds. All right, so the 56 pounds is 560 grains. This one is 442 grains. So you can see already that the alder buckthorn is much lighter. It's like 100 grains lighter for the same spine weight. Almost. It's even higher spine weight and much lower grain weight. The diameter, same. 10.5 millimeters or 1330 seconds. So that gives you an idea, right? The pith on the alder buckthorn is not bad. See, it's tiny. The pith is tiny, so it's good. So I'm happy about that. And the reason why I'm going to use these, the alder buckthorn, for my personal experiments, for my personal arrow set, bow and arrow set this summer, is because it is lighter. What that means, for one, there's a couple advantages to that. One of the advantages is I don't need to shave it down very much in the knock area to ensure that I'm going to be front heavy. I'm going to be adding a foreshaft or a large arrowhead to these, probably foreshaft and arrowhead, right? To weigh down the front. Now, to weigh down the front of a viburnum shaft, this is a viburnum shaft. This is 53 pounds. To weigh down a viburnum shaft to be front heavy requires a lot more weight. All right. Now, the way I make my arrows is the fat end is the knock end. It's not the point end. Some guys flip it around so that they don't have to worry about weight forward. I don't make my arrows that way. I make them the way they used to make them back in the day. Native American arrows were made with the top of the shoot as the point and the bottom of the shoot as the knock. The reason why is because you carve this down to leave a bulbous knock. You need a large diameter down here for the bulbous knock. Now, with a lightweight wood, you shave this down here, the shaftment, you shave where the feathers go, you shave it down and taper it, and then it leaves you a thin diameter here. But if you leave this unchanged, you can carve the knock into this fat part. Okay, so you get kind of a barreled arrow effect, where it's tapered from here down to the knock and tapered naturally from here down to the point. That's the way they used to make them most of the time back in the day. The Native Americans used to do it. And I think most arrows are made that way throughout history in all parts of the world, as far as I know. Because if you want to have an integral knock, you need to carve it into the shaft, and you need the shaft fat end for the knock. Okay? All right. So, well, what about the reproduction arrows on the heavy viburnum shaft? What are you going to do for the arrowheads? Yeah, I'll get to that later. Okay? I'll do some reproduction arrows. And what I'll do is I'll copy the stuff that's in museums and then just do tests on the copies without worrying about any of this technical stuff. And then we can see how the copies are going to perform. Because I know around here, I'm in Vermont, they use viburnum, arrowwood viburnum for their arrows, the Native Americans, the Abenakis and so forth around here. Okay, so this gives me an idea what I have available, just so I can compare. All right. It's not really necessary for making the reproductions. We'll get into that later. All right, but this is necessary for me to make my matched set that I'll be experimenting with. All right, now I went out and bought, changing the subject a little bit, I went out and bought some modern broadheads. Now, why did I do that? Because I'm going to test stone arrow points and bone and wood against the modern broadhead penetration. All right, anyone can go buy these. I believe I bought these on Amazon. I'll figure out where I bought these and put it in the description or in a comment. All right, these are 118 grains. I measured them myself. All of these are 118 grains. They're cheapos. I think I did buy them on Amazon, and they're legal in all states because they don't have barbs. They got 2 blades. It can be sharpened. This is kind of dull right now. But anyway, I'll be making stone arrow points with the foreshaft that are 118 grains total. And I'll be able to interchange. I'll be able to, on the same arrow, I'll be making an arrow with a foreshaft that can be taken out and put in with this. I'll put a little foreshaft on here and I'll stick it on the end, and I'll be using the same shafts for all my tests. Okay, I'll be interchanging tips and comparing them to the modern so that everyone can duplicate it, so the tests are duplicatable. Right? You might try your own and say, no, my broadhead's penetrated further than yours. Yeah, well, there's various reasons for that. Okay, some guys will spray a Teflon coating on these to make them more slick. Maybe I'll do that. Some guys' bows shoot faster than my bow will shoot. That sort of thing. Okay? Maybe your arrows fly and recover faster than my arrows, so they fly straighter and they don't vibrate too much before they hit the target. That sort of thing. So if you're getting better penetration than I am, just make the adjustment, if you know what I mean. You'll know with your bow what the stone would be penetrating if you know what the modern point will be penetrating. Okay, as far as depth into the target. Now, I'll be using some kind of material for the target that's not ballistic gel. I don't have that kind of money. I'll probably be using layers of cardboard or something like that. Something that you can buy at the store, like Walmart boxes or something that everyone can buy. I'll just shoot through like a laminated stack of cardboard, maybe 10 pieces thick or something, and see how it goes. All right? I'm not going to be shooting into rib cages that I buy at the store. You know, I won't be buying pork ribs or beef ribs and stuff and shooting that. I don't have deer available to me here in Vermont that I can shoot the carcasses, unfortunately. Yeah, I gave that I missed that opportunity when I was down in Texas. Anyway, but I am going to do the testing anyway, even though I don't have access and I don't want to use actual meat to do the tests on. Well, I don't want to waste the meat that I buy at the grocery store, because I am definitely not going to eat the meat that I shoot the stone points into. Definitely not, because there's no way I'm going to risk having a chip of stone in my throat. Okay, just in case. So I'll be using cardboard. Now, what else? What else? I think that's it for now. So the stage I'm at right now is just the beginning stages of coming up with some arrow shafts. What is the poundage of my bow going to be? Well, the draw length is only going to be 20 inches or so. All right, so it can be short. I think I'm going to do a 48-inch. My hickory bow is going to be recurved slightly on the ends. It's going to be similar to a Native American bow from this area, just so I can get used to making these bows. Let me just draw it out. Okay, it's going to be a recurve. It's going to be recurved on the ends. Okay, the arrow shoots out that way. I'll be making a bow like this out of hickory. Now, the average Native American bow seems to be about 40 pounds. Spine weight. I mean, not spine weight. I mess that up every time. 40 pounds draw weight. Okay, 40 pounds, and mine's going to be hickory, because that's what I have available that's seasoned and that I know it's going to hold up to all this testing. Yeah, the draw is going to be about 20 inches. All right, and it's going to be 48 inches long as far as the bow goes. You know, from tip to tip, 48 inches. Or thereabouts. Okay, nothing more than that. I want to keep it short. 20 inches or more, maybe up to 22-inch draw. Something like that. Okay? I know the hickory will stand up to long draw weights. It does take some set, which is, you know, it slows down the bow, but only slightly, I think. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be making, as well as the arrows. And the string, yeah, I'll use natural fiber for the string. Sinew. Yeah, I think I can do that. I'll be tillering it with an artificial string. Okay. And eventually, I'm going to be doing tests on Native American style arrows that I copy out of the books and copy off the internet, and see how they perform. And yeah, I'll use these modern broadheads on a reproduction Native American arrow to see how deep it penetrates. All right, so it'll be exciting. Reproduction Native American bows and arrows, and I'm going to test the penetration on these things eventually. All right, so that's where I'm at. I think I got everything covered. I should probably write down all the data that I've gotten so far. Yeah, like I got this list on my viburnum shafts. I can put this in the description or in a comment. Probably in a comment in the comment section, along with the data on these. I've got a lot more, so I'll probably, once I have all the data on all these arrows, shafts, I'll put them in either the comments or the description. Probably the comments. All right? Okay. That's it.